everybody, so today is June the 8th and tomorrow is my wife's birthday, so I am making her a birthday cake. So I make her a cake most years. I didn't make her one last year, I bought her one. And actually, she said she'd rather I had made her one. So, I'm making her Sunday cake, which is one of her favourite ever cakes. It's really simple, it's like a chocolatey, spongy type thing. But it's all about the decoration. Here's what you need to make it. We've got some icing sugar, some caster sugar, some baking powder, some self-raising flour, some eggs, some cocoa powder, and then it's all about what you put on the top. So I have, oh no, I've also got some butter. I've got butter in my pocket because it requires softened butter, and my butter's not soft. So I put it in my pocket to warm it up a little bit. But then it's all about what goes on top. So we've got a bunch of chocolate, some dairy milk that you just melt and pour all over it. We've got some flake, we've got some white chocolate buttons, and some Smarties. Let's make a birthday cake! I am making things a little bit confusing by actually doubling up the recipe. This makes a 2-tier cake, but Tara has specifically requested a 3-tier cake, and I figured that actually timesing everything by half again to make the extra tiers a little bit confusing, so I'm going to double everything instead. I may have some mixture left over, but I'd much rather have too much than not enough. Step 1 is to turn on the oven and preheat it to 180 degrees and grease your tins. I have 3 tins here, they are all equal size, which is good because they're all, I'm going to mount them on top of each other. I actually have here circular things already cut out, but I think they're the wrong size. They are a little bit too big. But that's okay, I might just grease them down. That's fine, I'm going to grease them down with a bit of butter. Totally fine. I'm actually going to use a different butter to do the greasing because I don't want to contaminate my butter and make it shorter because it's much easier to weigh and measure when you've got a whole one. Thinking ahead, I'm learning a lot from my baking videos, you know. To be honest though, I don't know how long this butter's been here, so luckily we're not eating it. It's like a wax crayon, it's gotten really solid. Huh? I mean, if they were actually the right size, that'd be brilliant. Right, tins are done. Next step. In a bowl, cream together the butter and sugar until light and fluffy. So that's 170 grams of unsalted butter and 170 grams of caster sugar times by 2. That is a lot. I don't really like putting a whole stick of butter in anything. It just seems like too much butter. Right. More butter coming out of my pocket. It's a really weird thing to do. I need another 90 grams now to make up to 340. Now I have to cream it all together. My butter's still a bit hard, so this might take a while. My mixture is creamed together nicely. What I'm actually going to do is transfer this into a bigger bowl, because now I have to add 6 eggs, because it was supposed to be 3, but I'm doubling up, and then a bunch of flour, and I'm going to overflow. Okay, 6 eggs going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, it's sloppy. Oh, no, it's really sloppy. I'm also really scared to mix it like heavily because I feel like it's going to just fly everywhere. Cakes are fun, aren't they? It's not actually mixing that well because essentially I've got lumps of butter floating in egg, but I feel like when I add my flour and my cocoa powder and my baking powder, it'll stiffen up a bit and it'll mix then. So, I need 170 grams, no, how much do I need? I need 140 grams of self-raising flour times 2, make sure it's sifted. 280 grams then, let's go. Oh, too much, way too much. I'm going to sieve my flour into my mixture. I've learned that it's actually quite important to sieve, because I've made cakes before baking with Jim, where I haven't sieved and I've had lumps of flour, and it's not pleasant. So, for the few seconds it takes, totally worth doing. Looking good. How much cocoa powder? We need 30 grams of cocoa powder, times it by 2, that makes 60. Cocoa powder is not coming out without a fight. Alright, 60 grams of cocoa powder. I'm also going to sieve this too because it's quite lumpy. And I'm being thorough, it's my wife's birthday. She doesn't turn 28 every day, does she? At this point I'm also going to add my baking powder, which is 1.5 teaspoons times 2, that's 3 teaspoons. Where are my teaspoons? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Right, let's mix this bitch. Oh, there's so much mixture, and it's so sloppy. Come on, keep mixing. Oh, I'm getting really hot, but I'm not wearing a t-shirt under this, so I can't take it off. Oh, I can't take any more. Okay, I think we're thoroughly mixed. It's now time to separate it into the trays here. Now it says, don't worry if it looks shallow or if it doesn't quite reach the edges because it will spread and it will rise. I have too much mixture obviously because I've done enough for 4, but I'm only doing 3. So I'm going to play it safe and not fill them right to the top. Oh, I forgot I buttered them. So much butter on my hand now. Right, here I have 3 fairly even tins full. Now I have to kind of try to spread it a little bit. I know it's going to spread, but I mean, it's nowhere near the edges, so I think I should try and flatten out a bit. Do you think I should weigh them to make sure they're all kind of a similar, maybe I should, just to make sure they're all a similar amount, you know, in there. 568. 570. Not bad. What are you? 545. Alright, you need a little bit more then. I just saw them doing this on Bake Off once and thought actually that's probably a good idea. 576, that'll do. Okay. Now then, let's try to kind of spread them a little. That'll do. Right. 3 fairly evenly sized trays full of cake mixture. Oh my god. That's so good. I love it. Okay, now what? Bake for 18 to 20 minutes, then allow to cool. Okay, I've got 3 shells and I've got 3 of them. Should I rotate them? Because I know that ovens are hotter at the top and cooler down the bottom. I'm going to put them in for 18 minutes, but do 6 minutes each, and then just make sure each one of them is on each area, right? That makes sense. Oh no, I've only got 2 shelves. That won't work. I wonder if I can fit 2 on a shelf. Oh, can I get 3 on a shelf? I might be able to get 3 on a shelf. Can I? Oh, yeah, 3 on a shelf, and I only done myself mildly. Good news. Siri, set timer 18 minutes.
Setting the timer. Okay, 18 minutes and counting.
Woohoo! Do you know what? I may as well make my icing now because between each layer there is a layer of icing and then on top goes the melted chocolate. There's no point melting my chocolate yet because it'll be solid by the time it has to go on. But the icing I can make, I've got time to kill. I've got 18 minutes plus cooling time, so I may as well make it. For that you need 90 grams of softened butter and 170 grams of icing sugar and cocoa powder to taste, but everything's doubled. And the instructions are just mix everything together until smooth. I need even more butter that I haven't softened. In the pocket it goes. Plonk. What I'm going to do is smush my butter down first before adding the icing sugar, because the icing sugar, from experience, just goes pff, and then goes all over your clothes and it's really annoying. So I think the mushier I can make the butter, the more it's going to stick to it. I need 340 grams of this stuff too, so it's going to get really dusty. Okay. Oh, whoopsie. Too much. Oh, blimey. Like being in the club. I'll do it. I might even do this bit by bit, you know. I've got time. Why not? Otherwise it's going to go in my lungs and I hate it. Oh no. Classic Jim with his icing sugar just getting it everywhere. Okay, icing sugar and butter are combined and are suitably mushy. Now I have to add in my cocoa powder to taste, which upsets me. I'm not sure what to taste should be. I might just go to brown, so when I've got enough in that it looks the right colour. I don't know. Right, we're going in. Oh, blimey, what is that? Oh no, I didn't want to crush it. Okay, well that's in there now. God, this whole double quantity malarkey is murder on the shoulders and the wrists and the hands. Blimey. Right. Oh, I think we're looking good with the icing. Okay, I am going to stop for a while, let my cakes cook, and then get them out and cool them for a bit. And that noise means that my cakes are done, I hope. They are out, and they are a little bit blacker than I would have liked. I'd like them to be a bit more brown, but they're not far off. They're also a little bit dippy in the middle, which worries me slightly, but they were in there for 20 minutes and I'm pretty sure they're cooked. So I'm going to leave them for a while to cool down a bit because actually they're burning me through the oven gloves. And then I'm going to take them out of the trays leave them on the wire rack for a bit longer to cool, then I'm going to put my icing in between, then I'm going to make my topping. Okay, so they are now out and cool, and actually I flipped them over and they look much better that way around, so that's the way they're going to go. I'm now going to heat up my chocolate for the topping, whilst I add the icing for the middle layer, if that makes sense. I've got a lot of chocolate here, but I want it to be really kind of coated evenly throughout, on top and around the side, so I'm just going to melt all this. Plus, who doesn't like melted chocolate, right? Chocolate is melting, let's assemble a cake. Make sure this is nice and pliable. Now, this is the part where I always get a bit carried away and end up like breaking the cake in some way, which is what I'm going to try and avoid this time. He says as he makes a crack in the first cake. Good start. Icing layer number 1. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Right, number 2. This is where it can go a bit wrong, I think, when you start adding layers on top of each other, because if you move one, then the whole thing's a bit out of sync, and we don't want that. Icing layer number 2, and then the third one. Oh, in fact, I only need 2, don't I? Because I don't want one on top of that, because that's where the chocolate goes. Would it be really foolish of me to take this one off and add more icing to the bottom layer as well? Because I just kind of was playing it safe, and now I feel like I've got lots of icing to play with, so... Is that a terrible idea? Is it going to come off? Oh, I'm going to do put this one on here, look. Like that. And then let's see if I can peel this off without too much. Oh, easy. I'm going to add some more. Alright, there we go. Now I'll put this layer back on again. Easy does it. Beautiful. Now, let my chocolate melt and then pour it on top and decorate. Allow me to introduce you to, I don't know what you're called, cake spinner? I don't know, but basically you put your cake on top and then you can rotate it, which apparently makes icing and chocolate drizzling easier. I've never used it, and perhaps I should have practiced on a cake that was slightly less important, but hey ho. I've certainly seen prettier cakes, but I've never made any of those prettier cakes, so by my standards, this is really good. And I think what I'm going to do is continue on this vein, keep adding more chocolate, because actually as I'm doing it, it is starting to harden a bit, so I can keep adding layers, so it looks really good. And then, once it's dry and set, I'm going to take it from that messy plate and just put it straight on there, and it'll look great. That's the plan anyway. I'm also going to decorate it with lots of white chocolate and Smarties and flake. That'll bloody do, you know? Oh god, it's so good. I'm going to begin decorating now with white chocolate buttons, Smarties and flake. Now, I made this cake a couple of years ago for Tan, and I didn't let the chocolate cool enough before I put the other things on, and my white chocolate buttons melted into my milk chocolate, so that's a bad idea. So give it a few minutes. Now it should be plenty cool enough. Personally, I'm not a big fan of white chocolate. I think it just tastes like sugary milk, but this isn't my birthday, so I shall put them on regardless. So, where white chocolate buttons are, they have a lot of surface area, a lot of sticking power. I feel like they've gone on really well. The Smarties, however, are heavier and smaller, so they just kind of want to slide down. So I'm just kind of letting the chocolate set a little bit, and I'm taking it nice and slow. And, oh no, there's 2 pinks in a row there. And I'm just going to put them on here. And just hope they don't just slide off. Look, it's just falling straight away. Stay. What I find quite interesting about this is you can tell when I've applied them, these ones are sliding, but like start up high and slowly get a bit lower as gravity takes its toll. And there's one missing there because it kept sliding off. Go on, go back on there. Smarties are a terrible idea. Why does she want Smarties on the bloody cake? I am playing a fun game though, where every time a Smartie falls off I get to eat it. So, swings and roundabouts. No, Smarties, stay. I never want to see another Smartie as long as I live. So frustrating. White chocolate buttons, Smarties, white chocolate buttons, Smarties. One thing to point out, right, in 2 packs of Smarties, there was only 1 yellow. Outrageous. Anyway, now I have to try and fit 28 candles on this cake. That's going to be tough, isn't it, I think? Blimey, I'm going to have to light this with like a flamethrower or something. There are so many candles. Right, 28 candles. Now for some flake. So I'm going to break this flake in half and maybe stick it in, or just crumble the flake on? What do we think? Right, I've pushed the flake in, and I'm going to just kind of pour some flaky bits on top. Bloody hell! I've made an epic birthday cake. I've got a Smartie that's run free though. Stay there, Smartie. Look at that! So this is Tanya's famous Sunday cake that she absolutely loves. It's really simple, sort of chocolatey sponge thing, but it's delicious. And on top we have white chocolate buttons with Smarties and flake and 28 candles. And there's a healthy coating of just dairy milk all melted on top. I'm very proud of myself and I hope she likes it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Usually what I would do, by the way, is I would try some of my cake at the end of a video, but it's not my cake. It's for my wife for her birthday tomorrow, so you're gonna have to take my word for it and believe that it's delicious. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it. I've got a lot of tidying up to do now, so I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye.